What is up, boys and girls? Everybody in the chat. Boom. How's everyone doing tonight? As you can tell by the title, we're going to be talking about a couple of different things, right? But I think the most important thing is going to have to be, we got some comments. Got some comments from not just the New York Jets general manager in Joe Douglas from last night. And if you are unaware of those comments, I made a video about that, and you can see my whole reaction on that in a different video. That being said, Gutekunst, or Goody, as we're going to call him affectionately here on the Talking Jets with Tigo show, made a couple of comments about the Aaron Rodgers trade, his expectations of the trade, and all of that stuff, essentially confirming that the New York Jets and the Green Bay Packers are close on a deal, that there's just a couple of things that they need to work out. I think the biggest piece of news of what he said was, you know what? He expects the trade to be done before day one of the draft. But I think a big important thing that he said there is that if it doesn't happen before day one of the draft, it'll happen when it happens. They're in no rush. The New York Jets are in no rush. And I think everyone's just trying to play the long game here. The more I look into it and the more I find out about the trade situation and the trade compensation, I think the real sticking points here are 2024 and 2025. I think 2023 is set. I think 43 is going to the Green Bay Packers. I think the Green Bay Packers agree to that. I think the New York Jets agree to that. Everything makes sense there. 43 to the Green Bay Packers. And I think what's happening at this point is a couple of things. The New York Jets want 2 conditional picks added to the back end of the trade. They want a 2024 second-round pick that will be going to Green Bay to be conditional on us having success this year. Where the Green Bay Packers want it to be an unconditional first. So they want a second-round pick this year and a first-round pick next year. And the New York Jets are hard sticking on that, saying, no way are we going to give you an unconditional first next year. Doesn't make sense. And I agree. Totally agree. Now, I think that the Green Bay Packers are willing to bend the knee, I guess is the best way to say it, on that part of the trade. But the New York Jets want trade protection in the form of a third-round pick in 2025, coming back to the New York Jets if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play in 2024. Now, why is this important? Well, this is important for a couple of reasons. One, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back in 2024, that means that the New York Jets will have to run Zach Wilson next year. Like, that's the expectation. Zach will sit behind Aaron, he'll learn, he'll develop, and he'll do all of those things. Now, if Zach pans out, fantastic. But if he doesn't pan out, then you have additional ammo to go up in the draft and go and get your quarterback that you would ultimately need to go out and draft. You would be able to get out from under Zach Wilson because in this scenario, you probably don't take his fifth-year option. But also, you have additional ammo in the form of a third-round pick that'll probably be in the middle of the third round because I don't expect Green Bay to be really anything good in the next 2 years. And boom. It makes a ton of sense. But I think that's what the sticking points is right now. I tend to agree with Mike Florio of PFT. I think this deal gets done between day 1 and day 2. Once pick 42 has been made and 43 is on the clock, I think that's when the trade gets done. Green Bay is going to come, give up Aaron Rodgers. They'll take 43. They'll take the conditional second. The New York Jets will get the conditional third, and everything will come out perfectly. And so there's that. But also another thing that we have to talk about, and I'm already seeing it in the chat, is OBJ is going to have an official visit on Monday. What's going to happen here is the fact that I think this is more than just a visit, right? We saw the reports that this is a visit and a medical, and according to Ian Rappaport and or Adam Schefter, I don't remember which one said it, the report is, hey, the conversation is about what his role is going to be on the New York Jets. If he comes, what's the expectation? What's his role? And it makes a ton of sense. OBJ needs to know coming in that he is not the number 1 wide receiver, let alone should he be the number 2 wide receiver. At most, he should be 2B behind Allen Lazard. And his usage and his utility will be such as a number 3 or a 2B wide receiver. That's going to be his volume. That's going to be his utilization. And that's going to be his role on this team. We've got guys that are going to be on this team for longer than the 1-year deal that OBJ is going to be on here. And those guys are going to take the priority over Odell Beckham Jr. And that needs to be an important part of the conversation. Now give me 1 second because I think I need to sneeze. For those of you who don't know, I have a really bad flu right now, and I just pounded some Dayquil to try to go live. So if you hear me sniffling, I'm sorry. It's not intentional. That's just, sniffling. That being said, we've got that. And then I think the other really, really, really big important piece of news here is that Garrett Wilson has flown out to California to work out with Aaron Rodgers. Now, there's no confirmed source or anything like that, but Garrett Wilson did post on his Instagram, I believe, a picture of a high school field, the exact high school field that we saw pictures of Aaron Rodgers and Allen Lazard when they were playing tag. Oh, I hate it when it comes and then it goes. I just need to sneeze. Just sneeze, Tigo. So that being said, you can connect the dots there, right? He's going to... Jesus, my eye is so red. He's going there to work out with Aaron Rodgers and get familiar. And that's a great thing because those are his number 1 and number 2 wide receivers on the team. So I think it's a done deal. OBJ is coming into the New York Jets. And it makes a ton of sense. Makes a ton of sense that he's a New York Jet. No matter what you think about him and his personality and things like that, his skill set is one of those things that is always, his ability is going to be one of those things that uh, always going to be idealized and looked at in a really, really, really high in a high fashion. He's an elite wide receiver. Like that's the reality of it. And after that workout, I have no fear about the legs and all of that stuff. And that's that. So let's say hi to some of the people in the chat. See what's going on. Let's start all the way in the top. New York Jets super fan in the house. What's up? Harlan in here saying and reminding everyone to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the like button. Jesse P in here dropping the Talking Jets with Tigo Navy emotes. Guys, we're doing a giveaway. If you want to be a part of the giveaway, underneath the stream, there's a little join button for less than a cup of coffee a month. It's actually, I think it's like $2 if we want to be honest. It's like $1.99. You can become a part of Tigo's Navy and get some of the coolest emotes around when it comes to chatting and doing all of that stuff. But also, you get entered into a giveaway. If we can hit 15 members before the draft, I will be giving away one t-shirt jersey of the player of your choice out of this draft. And I will ship it to you, and it'll be awesome. But if you want to be a part of that, boom, Tigo's Navy. Hit the join button down below. Get you access to a bunch of emotes. And we're going to be doing a lot of things with the members of the channel moving forward. All right, let's keep going. Dano in the house. Happy early Easter. Happy early Easter to you, good sir. Tin Star in the house. What's going on? Go. Most people think if he won't be force-fed, then he might revolt, but I don't think he will with this squad. And I think this is a great point, Dano, and I'm assuming this is about OBJ. I think that's what Monday is about, right? Monday is about, here's the contract. We're willing to give you this contract right now and let you not leave this building as a New York Jet, right? We're not going to let you leave. Here's the contract. We're willing to give it to you right here. Here it is. You can be a New York Jet and you can be catching passes from Aaron Rodgers, who will easily be the best quarterback you've ever played with in your entire career and might give you the opportunity to go get the long-term deal that you want next year, not with the New York Jets. That being said, the only way that this contract gets given to you is if X, Y, and Z. You understand that you're not wide receiver 1 nor wide receiver 2 on this team. Understand that there is going to be no hissy fits, no anything that is going to be allowed from your end. You're going to show up to work, you're going to do your job, and you're not going to say a peep. I'm not going to hear a peep from you. And I think that's exactly what Monday is going to be. And honestly, at this point in his career, I don't see him. Yes, he's a little bit of a crazy fella, but I don't see him really pushing that, like in the sense of like, well, yeah, of course. No team is out here offering me the contract that I want. Not one team. Don't forget, the Baltimore Ravens are interested. There's a bunch of teams that have showed interest. Oh my God, it keeps coming and then going. Jesus Christ, I hate this. I hate that. I'm going to get the flashlight. You guys know about that trick? If you stare into light, it'll make you, oh, my phone is dead. Crap! Yeah, my phone is dead. And I don't have my flashlight. I left it in the car. I just want to sneeze. Okay, never mind. But I think that's the whole point. But yeah. Harlan with a great point. I don't care about his Harlan. Tin Star with a great point. I don't care about his history and his health. And his health will be verified by the team before he signs. That's what Monday's about. Exactly. They're verifying his health. His workout, he looked phenomenal. And so I'm not worried about it. OBJ is an upgrade on Elijah Moore. Now, Elijah Moore might become OBJ like long term in the sense of like what his career is, because Elijah Moore right now is kind of an unproven player. But like my thing is we were never going to re-sign Elijah Moore anyway. The moment we drafted Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore became expendable. The same way the moment we drafted Elijah Moore, Denzel Mims became expendable. It's one of those things that wide receivers, high-end wide receivers, are hard to come by. But we got that in Garrett Wilson. We have a number one wide receiver, like a true number one wide receiver. Because that's exactly what he is, a true number one. But give me a sec. Nope. I'm going to keep that there because I'm going to sneeze. I'm going to get it out of my system. But yeah, it makes a ton of sense. I think he's coming. I think people got to come up. No unconditional first. I totally agree. The first round pick next year should nearly be a second rounder if all goes well. Yes, but that's not the point, right? I don't care about giving up the first round pick next year. But to say that it's unconditional is just absurd. I don't even think that the starting pick should be a second. I think the starting pick should be a third. I think it should be 43 and a third round pick next year. And you got to put, like, he's got to play half the season. If he plays half the season, it turns into a second. And you know what? If we make it to an AFC championship, it turns into a first. Like, I would be willing to make those the whole points. And so for me, I don't like, I mean at all, the idea of an unconditional first or really even like a second next year. When we look at the history of a trade that follows this very similar format, right? It's the Brett Favre deal. And yes, that happened after the draft. It's one of those things where it shouldn't cost that much. You guys signed him, and by you guys I mean Green Bay, signed him to one of the worst contracts ever for a player that's going to be traded. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve that contract. He does. He's one of the greatest, if not the greatest thrower of the football this sport has ever seen. But to trade a guy who's going to be due $110 million over the next 2 years, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to say that you have a leg to stand on. Mitch Staff. Now, why would the Packers want to bet on the Jets making Rodgers happy enough to stick around? You're misunderstanding the point. It's not about that. The Packers shouldn't and don't want that exactly. But the Jets aren't going to be giving up a ton of assets for a guy who's only going to be playing for 1 year. That's what it is. Billy SBC, anti-OBJ. He's not going to like Monday, in my opinion. He's going to have a little bit of a bad time on Monday. Wild Wave. I kind of do, don't I? Man, that's crazy. I've never done any of those things. I'm not a fan of it. Ooh. Let's see. Trying to catch up. Yeah, so I normally am allergic to, like, tree pollen and stuff, but this isn't, I know when I'm having, like, an allergy attack and stuff like that. Like, I take like, allergy pills, especially living in Orlando. It's one of the worst cities when it comes to pollen and stuff in America. I take my Claritin daily and all of that. That's not, I got my filter. That's it right there. Boom. That stays on. It's not a pollen thing. It's legitimately like I have some type of cold or flu or something right now. Now, the pollen isn't helping with that whole situation. For sure, like, it's not helping. But right now it is. It is for sure a cold, probably compounded with some allergies. Adam S. in the house with the super chat. Thank you so much. Thanks for toughing it out, Tigo, a true fan. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. You didn't have to do that. Oh, look at that. Billy. Tigo, try Claritin. I have, dude, it's right there. My Claritin. It's right down there. I have a little Medigen box that I keep in my office. Got my Claritin in there. I got some Claritin in my car, and I've got some Claritin in the living room. So yeah, I'm a Claritin guy, dude. I used to be Zyrtec, and then my body got used to Zyrtec, so I switched to Claritin. There you go. Tigo playing hurt. Absolutely, man. Got to do it for the team. he would help to spread DP attention away from Garrett Wilson. That's absolutely true. The whole idea is, as of right now, we don't really have a wide receiver that's going to pull away safeties. That's the real problem. When we look at our wide receiver room, even last year, towards the end of after the first couple of weeks, teams started realizing that Elijah Moore wasn't really a threat. And it wasn't because of Elijah Moore's success rate. It happened. We got the sneeze out. Woo! That being said, think it's coming back? Am I good? We good? Am I done? Nope. All right, I think I'm done now. That being said, what was I talking about? Yes. So Elijah Moore wasn't really a threat. They started realizing that Elijah Moore was being used as a decoy. So safeties didn't really need to shadow him, especially because none of our quarterbacks were going to hit him that deep anyway, like at all. So safeties were able to shadow over Garrett Wilson. Now, here's the thing that these safeties and these defensive coordinators didn't realize. Garrett Wilson is a dog, and you're not going to stop him. Like, this you're not doing it. Garrett Wilson is better than your cornerback and safety combined. Do you know why? Because every day at practice, he actually has to go one-on-one with the best cornerback in football. So you think he's scared of your number 30th ranked corner? Come on. Come on. He's facing 2 top 10 corners in the NFL every day, Monday through Thursday. He's going to be scared of your guy? That's the thing that they didn't understand. But Allen Lazard and his big body, that's a threat that you have to respect with the safety. OBJ is a threat you have to respect with the safety, especially if OBJ is working in the middle of the field, which is where I expect his utilization to be, is in the middle of the field, because he still has some of the best hands in the game. Ooh, watch out. It makes a ton of sense. This is a great point. This is a great point by Dano. Speaking of which, Dano, right now, Dano, I need you to drop, if you're still in here, drop a comment. I'm going to give you a wrench, buddy. You've been A1 elite on the channel. I think you deserve a wrench. I'm giving you a wrench. Drop a comment. Hurry up. Make it happen. I need a new one. No, I don't. Boom, there it is. He's got a wrench now. Harlan, always with the shameless plug. Didn't even want to mention it this stream, but if you want to, in the link in the description is some Talking Jets with Higo merch. Get it while you can. Boom. Hey, Dano, don't abuse the wrench. I'll take it away from you if I have to, but I think you deserve it. You've been awesome for the channel, and I love you. I think he's matured enough to know he's going to be under 31 teams watch for 2024. Absolutely. Absolutely. What's up? I'm thinking about doing an OBJ vid. Any tips on what I should talk about? I have been planning, but I want to ask from the pro himself. First of all, not a pro, but the biggest thing with OBJ when it comes to the New York Jets is the fact that his skill set as a wide receiver, especially with the experience that he has, fits our scheme perfectly. And like what I mean by that is he's a guy that can stretch the field because he has the speed and the explosiveness to get deep and to beat you over the top. He has the strength and the ability to beat you underneath, catch the ball, and then create extra yardage. And I think the biggest part is that he has some of the safest hands in the NFL. He's not a Corey Davis type or Braxton Berrios last year who developed some kind of, I have no idea what's going on, what was going on with him. But that was the kind of his skill set of what he brings. He's a true wide receiver that can play all 3, 4, 5 positions, depending on what scheme you look at. I think we only run 4 wide receiver positions, the X, the Y, the Z, and the F. And so he can really be any one of those guys. If he can show up and prove that he's a willing blocker in the run game, which I think I would have to reconfirm this because I don't know 100%, but I would recommend watching back his LA tape and seeing what he did in LA as a wide receiver in the run game. Was he used in the run game? Was he blocking effectively in the run game? And that's the whole point, right? Is truly he can work outside the numbers, inside the numbers, over the top, underneath, in a jet sweep, like as the running back, like especially in his new body. If you look at the videos of the body that he has now from the workouts that he did for the NFL teams, he really looks like, and I'm not using this as a comp, so please don't quote this as a comp. I'm talking about just his physical look reminded me of Deebo Samuel. I'm not saying that we're going to use him like a Deebo. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is his physical look, he looked like Deebo. And because Deebo is one of the most fit human beings I've ever seen in my life, right? And that's the point. But I'd have to confirm on the run blocking thing because I don't remember. B2 Tigo, a second this year and a fourth that can become a third, plus that contract is ridiculous. Like, I would put a third that can go to be a 1. I'm cool with giving up a 1 eventually. But for us to get to a 1, I got to win a Super Bowl. For you to get a 1 next year, I got to win a Super Bowl. For you to get a 2, if you take me to the playoffs, I'll give you a 2. I'll give you a 2 if you take me to the playoffs this year. If we make it to the play, I'll give you a 2 and a 3. Done. Straight up. And you know what? I don't even need pick protection. A 2 and a 3. Turns into a 2 if we make the playoffs. Turns into a 1 if we make it to the Super Bowl. Would you take that if you're Green Bay? Plus Corey Davis. I'll give you Corey Davis as well because we're about to get Odell. If you're Green Bay, I would take that deal. No. Oh, so close, Dakota. You know how his Twitter handle and his nickname is Big Ticket? I'm waiting for him to tweet the next picture of him in the gym, and I'm going to be like, Slim Ticket. That's the new at. He's looking thin, man. Mims is starting to seem like Zach. And Ronald, I need you to elaborate this because this is a very interesting comment. I'm curious to see what you mean here. This is hilarious, Rico, with a comment. I saw Packers YouTube make a video of a wish list of trade pieces in the deal. He had Quinn Williams as number 1, and the comments were disabled, guessing he got the business. Jesus, imagine saying that. Imagine saying that with a straight face. Ugh. Oh, imagine. All right, we're caught up. If Brees is 100%, A-Rod gets here, OBJ signs, this team is a Super Bowl contender, no doubt. This team is a Super Bowl contender if you just add A-Rod to the team. Brees doesn't even need to be 100%. Brees doesn't even need to be 100% like early. I think people are going to be surprised. I'm putting it out in the world right now. The New York Jets are taking a running back in the 4th round. We're going to do it. We need a running back more than people think. And we're going to take one in the 4th round. And if that happens, why rush back Brees? Let him rest. Imagine a fully healthy, untouched Brees Hall coming back week 10, ready for a last half of the season run to guarantee the number 1 seed in the AFC and then a playoff run for the Super Bowl. Imagine. Come on. It'd be too good. Becton looks better than he did at his pro day. Absolutely. He's looking real good. Elijah Moore got open at will. The kid messed up, but if you can't admit his skill set, then you're in your feelings. 100%. Dude was insanely good last year. Was insanely effective last year. The problem was his attitude. And now that the stories come out that apparently he requested a second trade after the OBJ talks, like if you can't handle competition, then yeah, I'm gonna move on from you. Like if you can't handle competition at the next level, you haven't done anything. You're a second round pick. You haven't done anything to earn, to deserve, to do anything like that. But like the guy got open at will last year. At will. And he was never, not once, was he the real target. And after being a decoy all year, and while you're being a decoy, you get open every time. And it doesn't matter how hard you're running those routes because the offensive coordinator will never use you as the number one read. I would get upset too. But there are better ways to handle that. Did Ronald leave a comment that I'm not seeing? No, I don't see it. How long do you think A-Rod will stay in New York? I think 2 years. He's due $110 million. It's like $58 million this year and then like 48 or something, $49 million next year or something like that. I think it makes a ton of sense. You know, I think when you see this team, especially like, and again, there's a big if here, but like what happens if we do make an AFC championship and then we get knocked out by, Kansas City? Like you're going to want to run that back, especially with the team getting better, getting older. We're going to have more cap space next year than we do this year. So we can really go even more all in next year. Makes a ton of sense. Makes a ton of sense when you look at it in that perspective. So I think it's definitely for 2 seasons. And that works out really, really well when it comes to the whole Zach thing because we can test out Zach in his 5th year. So, yeah. 4th would be early after MC and Brees, maybe a 5th or even an undrafted free agent. Here's the thing. You can't rush back Brees. That injury is one that I don't expect him to be ready week 1. And Michael Carter did nothing last year. Nothing. He was a nothing running back last year. Now, do I think that's really what he is? Absolutely not. Of course not. I think he is still a very productive and good running back. But you're already down a running back in Breece Hall because you shouldn't want or expect him to start week 1. Michael Carter's been hurt for a significant time, both of his first and second seasons. Makes a ton of sense. You got to take a running back. Bam fell off hard at the end of last year, too. And here's the thing, Dano. I don't know if Michael Carter's on this team next year. Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Michael Carter, but, like, you're going to be able to get out from under Michael Carter. And if he doesn't improve this year, which is it's an if. We don't know if he's going to. But if he doesn't improve this year, what's the expectation? That you're just going to keep him and keep hoping? You're not going to give him an extension. You don't re-sign running backs. So, again, I hope he does really, really well because I think a running back room of Breece Hall, insert rookie running back here. I really like Eric Gray. I also like me Israel Abanikanda, amongst other guys. But I can't think of them because my brain hurts. You add one of those guys to the room. Rashawn Johnson out of Texas. I like him a lot. He should be there in the 4th. You add one of those guys, and then you also have Michael Carter and Bam Knight in the backfield. And if Michael Carter can't turn it around, boom, you can cut him and keep Ty Johnson. If Bam doesn't turn around, boom, you can stash him on the practice squad probably and keep Ty Johnson. If you're a Ty Johnson hater, you can just cut Ty Johnson. There's no guaranteed running backs or anything like that. So we definitely need a running back because as of right now, we only have 3 healthy running backs on the roster. And one of those guys has a history of injury because he can't complete a full season. One guy is currently injured, and then the other two guys fell off. Well, not Ty Johnson. He actually surprised me last year. The other guy fell off after his debut, and the only good game he had in Bam Knight was against the Bears. And I think that we're remembering Bam Knight with rose-colored glasses a little bit. So I'm telling you right now, Jets are taking a fourth-round running back. I think it's going to happen. I got a running back for you, kid from Tulsa, Deneric Prince. Haven't watched his stuff. Jack, I think he's going to love football again here in this locker room. I think the 90% retired was before he realized he didn't have to go back to Green Bay. 2 to 3 years, in my opinion. I think the 90% retired thing was just to make Green Bay look bad. Really. That's what I think that was. I don't think he was going to leave $110 million on the table. I think he straight up lied to the world to try to give the Jets a little bit more leverage in negotiation. That's me, though. We the people. All of our running backs will improve once we have competent QB play and a passing attack that demands respect. No more teams stacking the box, and hopefully we do more than draw plays. 100%. Mike LaFleur failed last year as an offensive coordinator, but yeah. MC still gave us 700 total yards last year. Yeah, that's total yards. It's in the receiving game and in the rushing game. He's a running back, not a receiver. You know what I mean? And so, yes, 700 total all-purpose yards is a fantastic number, and I'm totally on board with that. You have to be a threat in the run game to be utilized as a running back. If not, go be a slot receiver, because I'd rather that. And again, this isn't anti-Michael Carter talk. I really hope that Michael Carter turns it around because I think he has the opportunity and the ability to be a really good running back in this league. But I'm not going to, in the same way that I have 100% belief in Mekhi Becton to turn it around and be one of the best left tackles in all of football, I still want to take a tackle in the first round. Both things can be true. Both I can want the current player that we have to succeed, but also want a player just in case. You know? So, there's that. All I need is another fast running back with some yak ability in the draft. That's what I'm saying. We're going to get one. Nobody was a threat after AVT went down. Yeah, you're not wrong. Carter's top play last year was bailing Zach out. Yeah, I remember that. I mean, you can't expect them to have a good rushing game if teams keep stacking the box and the O-line is all over the place. Look, I'm not blaming last year. I totally understand last year and expect them to have a bounce back. That doesn't mean that you don't take an insurance policy, especially in a win now year with a moment and in a group that is so good. Like it's one of those things that you don't just let it. You can't. You can't just say, you know what, this is the situation, blah, 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 blah. Like, especially with Nathaniel Hackett coming in. He's a run-first offensive coordinator. I'm telling you guys, taking a running back in the fourth round. Expect a Dwayne McBride, a Zach Evans, a Keaton Mitchell. I'm telling you, watch out. Yep. The Jets, ironically, Tinstar, I don't know if you know this, the Jets have already met with Holton Ahlers. Did you know that? Like an official, like they met and they talked about this prospect? I'm just saying. This is a great shout out. Have you seen my list? Is that what this is about, Tinstar? I put my list out. He's on my list of players that we've met. Our offense has been last for 10 years, so having a top 10 offense would be glorious. We're going to have one. I think we're going to have more than a top 10 offense. When you look at the weapons that we're going to have at some point in time, we're going to have Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard, OBJ, Denzel Mims, Yeah, I don't remember who the fifth wide receiver is going to be. McCole Hardman, Jesus Christ. McCole Hardman, those guys are insanely good. Then you're looking at a running back room of Breece Hall, Michael Carter, a rookie, Bam Knight, Ty Johnson. You're going to have a tight end room of CJ Uzama, Tyler Conklin, Jeremy Ruckert, maybe even another rookie in there if Yeboah doesn't necessarily, like if you, whether or not you believe in Yeboah. I believe in Yeboah, so I wouldn't draft or get an undrafted free agent kind of tight end. I believe in him. And I think the biggest thing is that we're finally going to have a quarterback that can throw the ball effectively and accurately. We haven't had that. We're going to have, for the first time in a long time, we're going to have league average quarterback play. And, like, here's the thing. There's a good to fair chance that Aaron Rodgers, I'm saying league average because that's what Aaron Rodgers was last year with the broken thumb. I think he's way better than league average. But imagine the team we had last year. Imagine if we had broken thumb Aaron Rodgers last year. Like, we're in the playoffs as the number 2 seed. There's even an argument to be had that we could have been the number 1 seed. I'm just saying. Balls be heard. MC had a sophomore slump. He will be a good weapon for Aaron Rodgers. I hope you're right. I really do. Hackett was a great red zone play caller for the Packers, exactly what the Jets lacked. Our red zone play calling was pure garbage. Here's the thing. If you want to look at what Nathaniel Hackett is look at all of the things that Mike LaFleur did well, right? Not the things that LaFleur did great, because his wide receiver, like, scheming and play calling in the pass game was elite. Like, this is a reason that Mike LaFleur is going to be an offensive coordinator or a head coach in the NFL soon. Soon. Like, I don't think people understand. He is incredibly intelligent when it comes to scheming up wide receivers and passing designs and play calling and getting wide receivers open, not because of their skill set, but because of the scheme. He's brilliant at it. Brilliant at it. And it's one of the reasons why we brought him over. Right? But what did he lack at? Well, he couldn't understand the run game effectively, and he couldn't get the run game going in any way that mattered at all. Number 2, his red zone play calling was ineffective. Ineffective at best. Number 3, he failed at adjusting his play calling to the team in front of him playing defense or to the players that were on his team. He called his plays and you needed to fit his style. Well, if you look at Nathaniel Hackett historically, he does all of those things incredibly well. He does all of those things incredibly well. Adjustments, getting his players to play good. Adjustments, getting his players to play well, and doing all those things. And so, yeah, it makes a ton of sense. All of the things that we really sucked at last year are going to get insanely better. And all of the things that we were great at are going to come back down to average, and that's a top 10 offense. If you put those two things together, boom, top 10. Well, when you add Aaron Rodgers, top 10 offense. Do you need some smelling salts to shake out? I wish I had some, man. Whew, I wish I had some. Tigo, thoughts on Morstead? I know he's far and away an improvement, but does he know how to aim at a pylon rather than the goalpost? No. Morstead is more like, he's just consistent. That's what Morstead is, right? He's not this, like, here's the thing. Morstead at his best isn't even better than Mann at his best. Mann is an excellent punter. Problem with Mann is that he's insanely inconsistent. And that's why he's not going to have a job. It's because of his inconsistency. It's not a lack of ability, right? He's actually a good punter. He's got a cannon of a leg. He can aim pretty well. Guy's a good punter. He's just inconsistent. Dano, you said it perfect. He's a high floor guy. He's just going to consistently... You're never going to... You know what? You're never going to say Morstead next year. Ever. When he punts, you know that it's going to be a good punt. It's going to be effective. It's not going to be a great punt. It's going to be a good punt. It's going to be effective. It's going to get the job done. Done. That's what you're going to see from Morstead. You're never going to see a shanked punt to the left or to the right or anything like that. I scout college football, and I know that the Jets draft players with high RAS scores. Yeah, man. That's a big Joe Douglas thing. Super high RAS score guys, super athletic guys. They believe in their coaching staff to coach up players. Because, like, the reality is that you can't teach some of those things. Like Denzel Mims, you can't teach. Is he 6'3"? Can't teach 6'3", 210, sub 4'3", 40. Can't teach that. And so, Ballsby Hurton says it perfectly. JD loves his high RAS score guys. And yeah, loves it. With AR last year, we probably sweep the division and are the third or the second seed in the AFC. Defense is number 2 or number 3 in the NFL. Truth. Hader Ali, I think we walk away with the number 1 seed. How many wins did Kansas City have last year as the number 1 seed? 13? Was it 13? They had 14. Yeah, you're right. We would have walked away with the number 2 seed because we had 6 one-score games that we lost last year. So if you add those 6 one-score games to as wins, we would get 13 wins. We would be the number 2 seed. We would have swept. We would have beat out Buffalo. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Guys, there's 65 of you in here, or 55 of you in here, and only 31 likes. Hit the like button. RAS scores are what? Wild Wave, it is a tool created by some math nerds who loved football that allows you to pump in all of the stats of a player that they got at the combine, their 3-cone time, their 40 time, their blah, blah, blah time, their height, their weight, their hand size, all of those things. And it's an algorithm that crunches all of those numbers and figures out how athletic a player is based on those numbers for their position. So it's a great tool when trying to find athletic freaks at certain positions. And here's the thing. Like, the algorithm for safety is different than the algorithm for linebacker. And so a great example of this, like if you look at Jamie Sherwood's RAS scores, they were, I believe it was Jamie and Sherwood. You might have to correct me on this, chat. But I believe it was average for a safety and excellent for a linebacker when you put those numbers in for a linebacker. So, again, it's comparing those stats to other players and pumping out a formula to give you as Hader Ali says, a relative athletic score, which just kind of, like, how is this guy... It takes football out of the equation. It's just, is this guy an athlete? And there you go. Garrett Wilson is just different and very special. As a player, a teammate, and a man, blessed. I will say this. I'll give you the first two. As a player, I'll give you the first one. Garrett Wilson is different, and he is very special as a player. As a teammate, there is some stuff that he does need to work on. And I don't know him as a man, so I can't talk about that. But we did see some immaturity out of Garrett Wilson last year. And you could see him working on it and getting better, like, with it as the year went on. But I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not a concern for me. Garrett Wilson is insanely good. Insanely good wide receivers have a tendency to become divas. And so I'm not saying that that's what Garrett Wilson is, because he started to fix it and he's headed and trending towards the right direction. But there was that. Garrett Wilson is a star. I love it. Guys, Nightbot reminding you. My favorite robot in the chat. Love her. Thanks, Nightbot. I don't know. Is Nightbot a girl or a guy? Guys, let me know. What is Nightbot? Put that up in the chat. But yeah. hit the subscribe button. Guys, can one of you go follow me on Twitter? I'm one away from 300. It's in the description. Can one of you go do it? One of you's not following me, hit it. So I just so I can hit 300. Last time I'm going to talk about it. Yeah, you never want to show up your QB. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's it, Dano. Again. And he got way better at it. But don't compound to a bad situation, right? You need to be able to rise above a bad situation. And as a 22, 23-year-old young man, that's a difficult thing to ask for him to be in the biggest point of his life, competing for an Offensive Rookie of the Year award, and then to have your quarterback throwing duds. I understand the frustration. I was just as frustrated as he was. That being said, like, you're messing with his money at that point. Because he got Offensive Rookie of the Year, like, that's going to affect his fifth-year option. That's going to affect his contract. That's going to affect different things. And it should. He's trying to get to a Pro Bowl. He's trying to do these different things because that all affects your fifth-year option now. And so having a bad quarterback does help that. The way G-Dub bounces off of defenders is insane. He's never straight up tackled. Dude, when you're that slender, it's hard to wrap up on a guy. Garrett Wilson is said to have been a better baseball and basketball player than a football player. Yeah, man, but baseball's dumb. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, that's interesting. Didn't know that. Kevin! Buffalo Jet fan in the house. What's going on, man? How are you doing tonight? This is my flu stream. You know when Michael Jordan had the flu game? This is the flu stream. Powering through. How's your evening? Right now it is. It's almost an unwatchable product right now. Dude, 3 true outcome baseball has made baseball almost unwatchable. I want baseball to go back to the good old days. Nalte, what's up? Woohoo. That's what I'm saying, Wild Wave. Like, I'm not saying, like, baseball is dumb right now. Because every at-bat either ends in a strikeout, a pop fly, or a home run. And it just diminishes the value of everything else. We don't see steals anymore. We don't see singles, doubles. Everyone's a power hitter. And, like, any kind of rule, any kind of change that you want to make to the game, it just ruins it for everybody. Because the old heads are all screaming, no, blah, 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 blah. It's just dumb. It's just dumb right now. Like, people complaining about the pitch clock. The pitch clock is one of the best things to happen to baseball. Like, legitimately. And people sitting here, They should let every baseball player do steroids. Problem is they don't need it. Pitchers can throw so hard right now. Like, they need to add 2 pounds to the baseball. They need to figure out a way to lower the velocity of baseballs by 6 miles per hour. They need to nerf pitchers, is what I'm saying. Now, I think the way you do that is you move the mound back. If you move the mound back 5 feet, not even, that's a drastic move back. But if you move the mound back like 2 feet, right? You'll lower the velocity of pitches by like an average of 8 miles per hour. And like what I mean by that is you'll lower the velocity of pitches over the plate at like 8 miles per hour. I disagree, Wild Wave. End the game. End the game in regular time if you don't want to deal with that stuff. You've got 9 innings to win a game. You're not willing to do it? We're going to do some BS. That's why I don't like the idea, like, I wasn't for the idea of the overtime where both teams touch the ball. If you wanted a fair overtime and it not to be decided by a coin toss, you should have won the game in regular time. Nope. You could have earned it in regular time, Wild Wave. At this point, end the game. End the game. End the game. That's it. I don't care about earning it. You had 9 innings in 2.5, 3 hours, realistically, because it's baseball, 9 hours to do it, and you weren't able to do it. Just end the game. You know why? And here's why, Wild Wave, because the game doesn't matter. And what I mean by that is like the individual game doesn't matter. If you win or lose that game, it literally doesn't change the outcome of the season. There's 160 games. Each individual game doesn't matter that much. Series matter more important. The series record is more important than the individual game record. You have 9 innings to win your game, and you're going to play tomorrow. No one wants to see a game go into the 15th inning. So get gimmicky. Would lowering the mound affect the velocity? You need to affect the velocity. That's it. If you can affect the velocity of the baseball, then you can fix baseball. That's it. So the Saints sent out Dempsey to win the game. I don't know what this is referencing. But yeah. You've got 9 innings to win the game. Win the game in regular time. If you can't win it in regular time, then that sucks for you. You deal with some BS rules so that they can end the game quickly. Same thing with like golden goal in soccer. I'm such a fan of golden goal in soccer. Just end the game. You had 90 minutes to end the game. If you need to have a winner, or like penalty kicks. Penalty kicks are the dumbest thing on the planet in soccer. And I love soccer. Penalty kicks are so dumb. That being said, you had 90 minutes to win a game, and you couldn't do it. So now we go to some random stuff. Same thing with a shootout in hockey. It's dumb, but you had 60 minutes to win the game. Couldn't do it. Here we go. Some dumb thing to shoot out. There it is. Just end the game. Now, this doesn't stand for like playoff games or important games or things like that, but yeah. Oh. Thank you. Thank you, Harlan. Appreciate you for clarifying that. Okay, guys. I wanted to do an hour. Nightbot is transgender. I love it, Nalty. Guys, I think I'm gonna end the stream. I'm dying. I wanted to do an hour. I'm sorry that can't do longer. Tonight would be the night that I would go all night. I'll go until the wee hours of the morning. My wife has the kid at grandma's house, and they're doing a sleepover. I am home alone. I would have ordered pizza and hung out all night. I really would have. But I'm dying. My face hurts. I can't do this anymore. So I'm not going to do it anymore. So I'm going to end the stream. But before we end the stream, I want to do the usual story time with Tigo. We're going to pick a short story. I need a short story. Here's a short story. So a lot of you may know the story of Matt Milano ending my football career and plunging me hardcore into lacrosse. And that's true. I played lacrosse. I had D1 offers for lacrosse and to do all that stuff. Nalty, I got a 70 on my exam last night. Thanks for asking. And I was pretty good at lacrosse. I was also an asshole. Pardon my French. Late night hours with Tigo. Thank you. Thank you, Dano. Covered it because I was sneezing. So when I played lacrosse, I was pretty good. I had D1 offers and stuff like that to go play lacrosse and all of that. And I had 2 sticks. And I had an aluminum stick. And then I had a wooden stick. And depending on which one I would use would be like, depending on the scenario. My aluminum stick was lighter, it was faster, it's whatever one used, right? Whatever, not important. But whenever I wanted to hurt somebody, Like, because remember, in lacrosse, you can just whack people with your stick. I would bust out this wooden stick. It was blue, had a python on it. It was my my wooden stick. And there was this one kid that was absolutely annoying the crap out of me. And we were going back and forth. We were both on the top line, so we kept facing off on each other and all that. Okay, I know you can hear me now. Nope. And so this guy was getting on my nerves, infuriating me. And so one of the things in lacrosse is that you're not allowed to cross-check, right? That's when you grab your stick from both ends. If you watch hockey, you can't hit people like that, right? With the stick. You have to hit them with your gloves. So you have to bring your fists together, and that's how you can hit them if you want to hit them. But some of us good players used to know how to cheat. And so what you could do is to get away with it is you would put your gloves together, but then you would pull them apart like that much. And because like we were skinny teenagers, you could get somebody's arm right in that little gap. And no ref is going to call it because they're going to see your hands really close together. And so you can get right up on a guy and really dig the stick like into their arm. And the whole idea is just to hurt them so that they drop the ball. Well, this guy later became one of my best friends. Yeah, absolutely. And so this kid later on became one of my friends. We were playing, and he sent one of our guys to the hospital. Right? Lacrosse is very, very violent, and this kid got knocked out. He got he ran up, and it was a totally fair and legal hit. Not gonna complain about it, but he came running, and he hit our guy and like knocked him out of the field, and like he blacked out, like he got knocked out. Now we later came to find out that this dude just had a glass jaw, like that happened. We were locker boxing, and someone hit him with like a random right, and he blacked out. I was like, whoa! And so we all realized that he just has a glass jaw. That being said, retribution was happening, and I was a jerk when I played lacrosse. And so this guy was running up the field, and I saw my opportunity. I was going to lay him out. But I wanted to do one of those, like I wasn't going to hit him with my shoulder. I was going to hit him with my stick so that I could push him, like because I was kind of small, but I was fast, so I could get him. And so I got my stick like that, and I hit him right here in the arm. And I got under him and lifted him off of the ground and like twisted him so he went and then landed on that arm. Now I'm going to say this so that people can go away if they don't want it. This is a graphic warning, okay? We're about to talk about some relatively nasty things. If you don't have the stomach for it, you have been forewarned, okay? In 3, 2, 1, last warning. In the process of hitting the kid, and I do it, I snapped my stick in half, and I heard 4 snaps happen. The snap of my stick and his arm breaking in 3 places. His arm went and it broke in 2 places, and then he landed and he dislocated his shoulder. It was one of the craziest things I have ever done in my life. I felt horrible. Not really, because you're whatever. Because I didn't, like, I celebrated the hit. I was like, what? And then I saw him on the ground wailing. And that was the only high school event I've ever been to that 2 ambulances were needed to be called. Because the first kid got in an ambulance, because they thought they killed the kid. And the second one, he broke his arm. Now, I will say this. Felt incredibly proud. It is one of my prouder moments. But that kid later became my friend. We ended up playing for the same spring ball like team. And I signed his cast. And yeah. There it is. There's a short story. Now, to be fair, I broke that kid's arm, so then I got retaliated on. And I got knocked out of the game. The kid broke my other stick. Just straight up, wasn't even trying to hide it. Just snapped my stick in half. I didn't have another stick. And it was right at the end of the game when we lost the game because of it. Because I couldn't play. I was trying to change out my stick because, you know, like my coach was like, we were sitting there trying to take the head off of my stick, put it on his stick, and it just took too long. We couldn't get it done because we couldn't find a screwdriver, and it was an away game, so the other team wasn't willing to give us a screwdriver. For good reason. I broke one of their players' arms. And yeah. And there's that story. Boom. And there's that. Guys, I wouldn't say I was a violent youngster. That's not what I was. But I was able to let my rage out in lacrosse. Because lacrosse was, you have to remember, I was a smaller kid. I didn't really hit my growth spurt until like my junior year. I was just a smaller kid. But I was fast and I was quick. And so that was the whole thing. Lacrosse was the one sport where I could really bully people. And it was because I was most of the time one of, if not the best player on the field. Like that's just how it ended up being. And so that was the one true place where I could really, as Dano says, I'm even going to highlight it, harness my overflowing passion. I loved lacrosse because it didn't matter about size. It just mattered about, well, it did, like, because there were bigger kids that bullied me, like, off of the ball and things like that. But, yeah, there's that. Wild Wave, no bonus story, dude. My face is leaking. I'm about to go die into a pillow. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Sorry for missing the stream yesterday, but I had the test. Sorry for the short stream today. I want to go longer, but I can't see. I can't breathe. And I don't want to keep sniffling all up in your stuff. That being said, thank you everybody for hanging out. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button on the way out and hit the subscribe button. We'll be back next Friday, 100% guaranteed. Come hell or high water, we're doing, I'm sorry, next Friday. Come hell or high water, we're making the Friday stream happen. Have a happy Easter. If you celebrate it, you don't celebrate it, go get yourself some chocolate eggs. And last but not least, thank you so much for hanging out. And, oh, wait, no. Wait, before we go, I have a question. I am getting my first YouTube paycheck. And it's going back to making the channel better. And I hate these white walls. I hate these white walls. What do I fill these white walls with? Somebody tell me. We're going to stay on for like 2 more minutes. I want to fill these white walls with stuff like Jets memorabilia and all that stuff. Because right now all I have is the pennant. And that's the only, like, I have to wear the hat. And, like, you have to see the pennant. Because it's the only way that you can know that this is a Jets channel. So what else should I get to fill up these white walls with stuff? You guys have been able to help me out so much. I was thinking, and Nolte kind of had a great one. I was thinking of getting all of the retired jerseys, like as little banners, if it makes sense. Right? To do that, I think that would be really cool. Like put that like up here, like just like 12, 13, and those are the only ones that I know that are retired off of the top of my head. But I know we have a bunch of more. I think that would be really cool. If they weren't stupid expensive, I might have to talk to Gunny, but like I would love to have a framed jersey. Vervain says it, like a framed signed jersey. That would be awesome. But those are relatively expensive. Hank G, a picture of Fat Rex. That's not a bad idea. Jets neon lights. Jesse P, that's a good one. But I feel like everybody has a Jets neon light. Matt O'Leary has one. Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7 has one. Green Bean has... Like, I want to get lights and stuff, and I'm going to turn the background into a little bit more of a production. But I think like a Jets neon light, I think everybody has that. You know? Like... Oh, Gunny's got the hookup. I already know. I've already talked to Gunny about it. That when I need memorabilia and stuff, we're going to... Like, again, me and Gunny are working on something that I'm not going to spoil or anything. But we're working on something, and it's going to be exciting because we're going to do giveaways and we're going to do different things. Like, there's stuff coming. Harlan, yeah, I was thinking about doing that. Past jersey that we retired. So here's the thing. I don't like that my backdrop is so plain. There's nothing here that tells you, like, if you see my video, if I'm not wearing my hat, right? The only thing that tells you that I'm a Jets fan, outside of the name of the channel is Talking Jets, is this little pennant. I just think that there should be more stuff saying, like, hey, this is a Jets YouTube channel. Now, I was thinking about, like, turning it into my own thing. You know what I mean? Like because I have a bunch of these, like, you can see it. It's behind my guitar case right there. Like, I have a bunch of these, like, comic book posters. Like, you can see even, I got a Batman one here. There's a Legend of Zelda one. Right down there, there's a Spider-Man one. Because I have all of that stuff. Naughty, those are so expensive. I'm not making that type of YouTube money yet, bud. Those are legit. That's like legitimate money. Because I looked into that. Getting my logo done into like a real banner, like to put up in the background. That's like real money. I'm a stay-at-home dad and a full-time college student. So there's a lot of good options here. I'm really trying to figure out, like, what's the best way to go when it comes to filling up this background. Because, like I said, like, I want to fill it up with some stuff. I want to put some things on here. Maybe even get rid of the. Yeah, they're not that cheap anymore, dude. They're not that cheap anymore. $100. And here's the thing, Nalty. $100 is a lot of money, dude. I'm a stay-at-home dad and a full-time student. I don't have a job. I have to use my YouTube money for this. And I don't get paid a lot from YouTube. Like, at all. So. I would love to get a Mangold jersey. Harlan says it. Like, a signed Mangold jersey would go right where the pennant is. Go right there. That would be so dope. Make it happen, Nalty. Alrighty, guys. I'm going to end the stream there. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for giving me some recommendations and for doing all that stuff. I'm going to head out. I'm going to go to sleep. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. Like I said, we'll be back on Friday. Who's my favorite all-time Jet? Oh, that's a great question. Probably Nick. It's probably Mangold. I love Mangold. Mangold or Pennington? Probably Pennington, if we're being honest. Just because I love Chad. I loved his whole thing. If I could get a signed Chad jersey, that'd be dope. I got to talk to Gunny. See if he can find me one. Alrighty. I'm going to get off. My eye is refusing to open. Guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for doing all that stuff. Have a good night. I love you all.